Hey everybody,
Hey guys.
This is MaJeliv. We're the Vasquez family. I'm Matthew.
I'm Jose.
And I'm Joshua.
And today we are going to be reacting to the official trailer of Gladiator II. We are extremely excited for this video. If this is your first time with us, thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you. If you guys have been here before, you guys will notice that we're missing two very important women in our family right now. Jenny and Jemmy, they're both busy doing awesome things right now. We figured that we'd jump in and watch this regardless because it is very exciting. It's a official trailer, so there's 3 minutes of just kind of getting a glimpse of what this movie entails. Obviously, the first Gladiator was a big impact in terms of cinema history. Dad, you've told us the story of you remembering putting in the reels, right?
Yeah. This is a movie. The Gladiator, the first one, the Gladiator, back in the the 90s when it came out. I was working in a movie theater, and I've told him the story of how I actually carried this movie on the film plate. I used to work in projection, so I have a very, very deep connection to this movie as a fan, of course. Some of you that know we are a family of actors, unfortunately not in the sense that I've worked on it in any direct sense, but definitely in a very indirect way. I have connected with this film. Literally, I've held the film in my well, not Gladiator 2, but Gladiator. For sure. The first one.
And then Josh, I remember you telling me, because this I think was one of the first movies you saw that was like film, right? Kind of changed your perception on what movies could be.
Yeah,
right?
I've only seen it once, and I've said it many a times about this being my favorite film. And I say that because of like you said, the perspective change that I had. At the time, me and my sister were watching a lot of the same movies over and over again. And then we sat down to watch Gladiator, and it was quite the experience to go through that journey with our hero, Maximus. So it was just phenomenal and mind-blowing. I didn't expect it to end in the way that it did and how beautifully it ended. And it just it moved my expectations to heights that I didn't even know existed. So it was wonderful, wonderful, and I'm looking forward to going to the theaters in a new maturity. We saw this when I was a bit younger, so we're in a different point in all of our lives now. So I'm very curious to see how we'll receive a second movie of The Gladiator.
Absolutely, yeah. This is very exciting. Again, there's still a lot of. I'm sure we'll get more of it now in terms of how they're going to go with the story, because it did seem like the story ended at the first one, right?
Yeah.
But clearly, there's more story to tell. Directed by Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's come back. There's been some other people that are back on the same team. So, cinematographer of the original is back. I mean, obviously we have Pedro Pascal. We have Paul Mescal. We've never seen his work, but I know he's been rising up in Hollywood. And then obviously Denzel. So there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah.
We're going to jump on in, and Joseph Quinn. So again, a lot to talk about. So we're going to jump on in, and then we'll give our thoughts after. But thank you guys for joining us today. Let's jump into the official trailer of Gladiator 2.
I remember that day.
Oh.
That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Where were you born?
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
Oh,
Did you hear that crowd? The greatest temple Rome ever built.
oh my gosh, Denzel, man.
Because this is what they believe in. Power.
Oh my goodness. This looks.
There are victories yet still to come.
Wow, so Joseph Quinn is the emperor.
They can eat war.
Oh my gosh.
Slaves into gladiators, the gladiators into free men.
You have something in you. I knew it from the start.
Did you now?
Rage. That rage is your gift.
You kind of called it, how Denzel would be like his
Oh yeah.
mentor
That's how I would have written it.
slash
Absolutely.
It's about survival! Survive! Hold together, and when it charges, break for the wall.
Oof.
Oh man. This. Yo.
Could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
Too much.
The general will do.
Ah. Oh, this is gonna be great, man.
Oh my gosh.
And then the showdown.
Belonged to Maximus. Now I give it to you. People are not free.
Oh, I just got chills.
Oh
He's
my
putting
goodness.
it on.
Oh, the legacy.
Now I will control an empire. I will not waste another generation of young men for their vanity.
Strength among us. This our own treated hero.
Huh. The scale, man.
Whew. Oh,
my
man.
gosh.
man.
Oh!
Oh.
Yep.
We're in the Coliseum, indeed.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Wow.
Well,
I will say immediately, it feels like it's enhancing anything we've experienced in Gladiator in the sense of offering something new. There seems to be a lot more of that drama and betrayal and like deception, right? And Denzel's character is the one that's sticking out the most right now because it seems like he's using
oh yeah, it's
completely to a power play. You know,
absolutely, yeah.
I was drawn a lot to Pedro Pascal's character.
Yes.
I feel like there's a bit of a, because Gladiator fights aren't always the best in terms of how there are good people that go against each other. I think that's something that we don't get in the first one. Is you have a very good guy, a good gladiator, going up against this evil, prideful leader, whereas here you have a fight between two good guys. That
I mean, I don't know
against
how
each other.
good Pedro's character is. He's the general of the Roman army.
Right.
That's true.
Which is ironic because that's what Maximus used to be.
Right.
He was the general of the Roman army and then became a slave. And now, in terms of actual parallels, it sounds like, at least what I got from this trailer, that Pedro's character is that general. That's at the right hand of the
Emperor,
Of the
yeah.
emperor.
Or Joseph Quinn.
Joseph
Quinn
Quinn's
is, yeah.
character, who he looks maniac,
Terrifying.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just complete, mayhem. And then Denzel, that's the interesting. He's moving the chess pieces, right? He's looking to take over Rome. I mean, it's very.
There's a lot going on.
And the actress, obviously
Very
his
nice.
mother.
She's back.
She's back. Yeah.
That adds an element of kind of time travel for me. Like, just you see her face and you're taken back to the beginnings. Here's what's interesting, that this is supposed to be Lucius, this kid, Paul's character. He's supposed to be Lucius grown up. So at some point he gets separated and taken from his family. And I read an article. I read the Hollywood Reporter article where Ridley Scott even said that, in his opinion, I mean, he made it, this movie supersedes in so many ways the first one. But I think he's, as the creator of the film, he obviously, that was his goal, is to make it better than the first one.
Well, and I think Gladiator in a lot of ways broke boundaries, and since then I think inspired other filmmakers that then broke more boundaries. So this is like to revisit it. It's like, how do you tell a Gladiator story to the fullest that you can? And now I think there's maybe things that were limits in the past that now there's like a new horizon to what can be done. I mean, I think about it. Since then, you've had Game of Thrones. You've had this massive scale. I mean, even because Pedro Pascal was also in Game of Thrones as well, right?
Right. We're just going to see things that we could only have imagined before, with for example, the Colosseum being flooded and having actual like water battles. And
is that something else that they?
That's something that
they did.
That they
had
used to
draining
do.
systems for like the aqueducts. And,
right.
Huh.
So I mean, I've never seen it in film. I know that maybe they've done it. I mean, you guys could tell us this. I never got into a lot of the, the old Roman Empire shows that were on HBO and others, and maybe they did it in those shows. But I've never seen this kind of creative iteration on what was done in the Colosseum. So all of that is super fascinating. But I'm mostly fascinated with the Denzel character and what he's trying to accomplish by using. I have a feeling he knows who Lucius is. For whatever reason, Lucius does not remember who he is. It's interesting because he was saying, I grew up without a mom and a dad. So that was very strange. It sounds like his mother gave him up for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it wrong. You guys can tell us in the comments section. We haven't done too much, research into the story yet, except what I read this morning on the Hollywood Reporter. But it's super enticing, and it comes out in November. This will be
yeah.
a
good Thanksgiving movie, and also, I'm sure it's going to be a long movie as well, as I hope it is.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like it's an epic. We were talking about that, reflecting on this comeback of these movies, these films that are a cinematic experience that make people want to go to the theaters. And I think there's going to take movies like this. I think we were reflecting. I think ever since like a Top Gun Maverick, more recently, is kind of what ignited this this sense of people desiring and wanting the true beauty and gift that it is to be able to just experience a movie, a story, on a massive scale in a theater. So this is definitely one of those things that you're going to want to go to the theater for. So it's very, very exciting. Definitely can't wait to watch it with Mom and Jemmy as well, and we're all going to watch it together. It's definitely, they watched the first one with us as well. So.
But Jemmy was saying, and I don't mean to speak for her, but it's another reason why we didn't hurry, or rather why we didn't wait to do it with the girls, is because even Jemmy was like, she barely remembers the first one, because you guys were very young when you saw it. So ideally they watch it again, and then we see this trailer together and talk about it and get ready for it. But this is definitely a movie, with God willing, that we'll get to the theaters together and
absolutely
take it all in, and just this is the kind of movie that we dream about being in,
right?
Writing or some sort of epic like this, where the inspiration is hard to measure, so it's better to just live it out, because it.
Yeah, and the commentary on humanity. I think the Roman Empire, and there's just so many things at play, right? Just an excessive nature to the way that you live, or again the slavery, and then this wealth and pleasure and luxury, and like all these pieces, right? All these elements, and the way that they just sometimes clash. It's surreal. It's surreal to think that humanity used to once, it's just wild. I mean, it's just crazy. There's a lot there, a lot to talk about, I'm sure. So
yeah, we will love to break this open more, because we've grown out of that, but we still sit in arenas and we watch athletes do what they do, except now not to the death.
Right.
But there is a great power, and the Roman Empire used to use that power, and to see this continue around these character stories, and if we land it all with Lucius and how he connects us to Maximus. Yeah. It's going to be, I think it's going to be great.
And ultimately offer something new, because again, it's a sequel, but it seems to elevate what the first one had. And the fact that there's these actors attached to it, I think just speaks, I think something must have drawn them to it.
Yeah.
So.
We didn't get anything with music that sounded anything distinctive.
No, that was probably my least favorite part of the trailer, was the music choice. It took me out of it. I wasn't really connected to, there were great visuals, but I don't think the music matched, in my opinion.
It's also probably for the audience.
One of the bigger parts of the movie for me is Hans Zimmer's music, his score. That's definitely one of the main connectors that I had to the first film. So, again, I think they might still be either working on it or,
that's what it felt like. There's no actual music complete.
And this also, if someone hasn't seen the first Gladiator, there's no expectation of how the music will be. Because then, hopefully they have, because I think that you have to go and see the first one in order to fully grasp this second one. But that would be an interesting perspective, to see the second Gladiator without having seen the first one. That's definitely there.
And I think for the newer generation, the people that haven't seen Gladiator, or, just trying to maybe tap into that audience. But I think music-wise, it's such iconic music. Ideally, they stick to that. And if not Hans Zimmer, who else do you think could?
Well, we've talked about it. I think Lauren Balfe did the music he helped with Top Gun Maverick, and then he also he did the music for the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and that's Paramount too. So he might work on this project. And then the other one we were thinking was Ludwig Göransson, but he's mainly with Christopher Nolan these days.
Now,
so that's kind of not really. I would think more of a Lauren Balfe or a Hans Zimmer, or they work on it together like they did with Top Gun Maverick, because that would only make sense.
Yeah, I want to find out eventually if they shot this on film.
I think I don't know, man. It looks like they might have. Yeah.
I mean, it looked really good. I mean, but we're in the projector, and our lighing is a little. Probably just have to research.
It's the same cinematographer as the first one.
Oh,
and of Logan. So
wouldn't it be harder to do CGI on like film?
Not these days.
So
I don't.
these
I mean,
days.
there's probably just some extra steps. It would probably be more expensive. Yeah, and I know the movie did get more expensive as they went along filming. So that sound, when I read that this morning in the article, it sounded to me like
They used film.
the olden days where you would have a budget and then you're calling in your producers. We're going to need more films. It's going to cost more money. And it sounds like this happened with this movie. So I don't know that it was a film per se, but I want to find out, because if this exists in a film format, then it will just continue with the legacy that I know it to be, which is on film.
Quite surreal, yeah.
And I was gonna
Really-
say too, really quick, that a lot of the first movie has conversations between characters, and you feel the weight of the history going on around them. And I feel like with this second film, there's a bit of not like a lack of patience, but like the conversations sometimes audiences get lost in that. I know we don't. We love to listen to what people say, and the interactions between characters and the weight of their behind their words. But it does help most audiences to experience the wars and the conflicts that these people are talking about, so that when we arrive to the moments of the gladiator fights and, you know, war contained inside of an arena as opposed to outside an arena, we're getting to see both ends of that. So I think there's a lot of potential here, and as to why maybe you said Ridley Scott thought that this would be like a great like a
Even
greater
more
movie, is
epic, yeah.
because it can connect to a lot more people in the sense of being able to fully experience what that is, as opposed to having to look through a character to receive all of it. So this is definitely going to be a big one.
It's a big
Hopefully.
one. And it's not long from now, so we have a couple months here, but it's very, very exciting. We definitely want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments, so let us know what you thought of this trailer, what the first Gladiator means to you, what it meant to you growing up, when you saw it, maybe you remembered. Let us know what that first time was when you saw it.
If you didn't
how
know
it
that the
impacted
trailer
you.
came out.
Right, and who here in the cast, who you're most excited to see, what character perhaps, things like that, or some behind the scenes stuff, maybe an article you read about some info. That's good for us to know, to get us even more excited. But yes, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We hope you guys enjoyed our reaction. And with that, go out there, spread your light, and we'll see you guys in the next MaJeliv video. Have a MaJeliv day.
Bye.
Bye.